Kumar.
Welcome to Rendez-vous with Yasmin.
And Kumar.
Linking France and Sri Lanka tonight on the show, we have a fascinating array of similarities and parallels in tea and wine.
Yes, tea and wine are so similar in different aspects. Let's discover over a cup of tea. Cheers!
Santé!
Anytime is tea time. What do you think of it, Kumar, this expression?
Yes, of course, for us Sri Lankans, it certainly is.
Tonight, we are talking of similarities between wine and tea. And a long time ago, I think it was in the early 90s, Peiris, a tea connoisseur, was the guest on Bonsoir, talking about tea to two French journalists who were in Sri Lanka to write a book on tea.
And joining us for tea on Rendezvous today, we have his daughter, the beautiful Aneesha Peiris, with her family background in the tea trade and specialized in marketing.
Bonsoir Aneesha, bienvenue à Rendez-vous.
Bonjour, merci.
Vous parlez français?
Un petit peu.
A French region famed the world over for its wine is Burgundy in central eastern France. Burgundy is one of the great historic regions of France and produces prestigious red and white wines. The city of Beaune houses a wine museum situated in the magnificent residence of the Dukes of Burgundy from the 13th to the 16th centuries. Among the artifacts that span centuries of winemaking history is a collection of wine presses that date from the 16th to the 19th centuries. Aneesha, have you been to France and have you been to Burgundy?
I have been to France, Kumar, but not to Burgundy, unfortunately. But definitely on my next trip, I think. But as similar to the wine museum in Beaune is the tea museum in Hantana estate, which is just 3 miles from Kandy.
This is the first ever tea roller by John Walker. It is called Little Giant Tea Roller.
Okay, let's get ready for a wine tour with Yasmin live from the vineyards of Burgundy.
Un grand bonjour de la Bourgogne en France. Burgundy is famous for its wine and the region is covered with vineyards. Our rendezvous tonight is with Paul Jacqueson from a village called Rouilly, also famous for its wine. He will explain all about making wine. Bonjour Paul, est-ce que vous pouvez expliquer aux téléspectateurs de Rendez-vous les étapes différentes de la fabrication du vin avant de mettre en bouteille?
Alors c'est une fabrication qui est assez longue. Donc on commence par le raisin. Donc on va cueillir le raisin dans la vigne. On amène le raisin ici dans la cuverie. Et il y a deux choses. Donc le raisin blanc. Donc le raisin blanc on le met dans le pressoir. On presse. Et avec le jus après on le met dans les tonneaux. Et le raisin rouge on le met dans les cuves. On le laisse macérer pendant 3 semaines. Et après, donc, la transformation du sucre en alcool se fait dans la cuve, et après, nous le mettons dans les tonneaux.
Okay.
Le blanc, la transformation du sucre en alcool se fait dans les tonneaux. La différence, elle est là.
D'accord.
Voilà.
Yasmin, didn't you do the vendange during one of your trips to France years ago?
Yes, that was after seeing a picture postcard.
How was it?
It was not like the picture postcard. It was hard work. You have to be bending down all the time and you see these long rows of grape wines and you know you have to do the whole line and I was the last to finish. You know what I was looking forward to? The breaks. Ooh, the French snacks and wine flowing and you're very well paid.
Well, Yasmin, the plucking of the tea is not an easy job either. In fact, it's quite a skilled job because they don't pluck just any leaf off the bush. They have to pluck only the bud and the 2 leaves, which are the youngest leaves that adjoin the bud. So they have to be very careful not to damage the leaf in any way, so they can't bruise it or tear it. There can be snakes in the tea bushes. There can be, even when you look at the upcountry tea, the tea tends to grow right to the edge of the cliff. And so they have to be careful also not to lose balance when they are plucking. They have a basket on their back.
What about wine tasting? Didn't you ask your friend to explain to you?
Of course, watch. Je sais que la dégustation est très importante. Donc, est-ce que vous pouvez nous expliquer ça?
Je dis, c'est ce que je disais, la dégustation c'est très, très impersonnel. La dégustation, et toi tu vas aimer des choses que moi je vais moins aimer et le contraire aussi. Donc chaque personne a une perception différente. Mais ce qu'il faut bien se mettre dans la tête, c'est qu'une dégustation, il faut aimer le vin déjà. Il faut aimer le vin et aussi le vin, c'est une chose qui est très importante, il faut allier le vin avec les repas, avec les plats. Et ça, c'est très très important. Il y a certains vins qui vont très bien avec les poissons, d'autres moins, et des vins qui vont très bien avec la viande, et d'autres aussi qui vont bien avec le fromage. Et certains vins français qui vont bien avec les desserts. Voilà. Voilà ce qu'on peut dire avec la dégustation. Mais la dégustation, c'est très personnel. Il faut déguster, il faut en parler, il faut aimer ça.
Wine is a very important component of any French meal, and during a stay in France, Yasmin learned to make this Burgundy speciality, which she'll share with you right now.
A French writer once wrote, l'emblème de France, c'était le coq. C'est aujourd'hui le coq au vin.
Oh, she's going to make coq au vin.
How lovely!
Yes, that's a Burgundy speciality. And you use wine for the cooking.
Oh,
so,
delicious.
The ingredients first. So you have a piece of chicken per person, and it's the best way is to marinate it overnight with wine and an onion pricked with a few cloves and a few cloves of garlic. You marinate it and keep. And normally you have to have laurel leaf, but we don't have. Aneesha, can you go and bring some carapincha, curry leaves? We can substitute. We can always do that.
Carapincha can substitute laurel leaves.
Of course, we can always try. It might not give the same flavor, but of course the carapincha has a lovely strong flavor. So, there's Aneesha.
Freshly plucked.
Ooh,
wow.
Thank you. Okay, now we'll start. Let's fry the bacon because that will give the some fat. Okay, add a little bit of butter. Okay.
Everything's better with butter.
Yeah, bitter butter. And when that is frying, you add the mushrooms.
The flame is high, medium or low?
Medium, always it's good medium, okay? And you add the mushrooms and the onions, okay? So let it cook for a while, okay? Saute. So you leave it aside, okay? And then you fry the chicken. So now we make the sauce. We take a pan, put a little bit of butter to make a roux. That means to thicken the sauce, okay? Sprinkle a little bit of flour, mix it nicely. And you add the chicken stock first and mix it well so that you don't have lumps in it. And then you add the wine from the marinade.
Oh, this goes in there. I was wondering.
So we add the wine.
They are of no use anymore.
And now you add all the rest of it, the chicken, and the mushrooms, the onions and the bacon, some salt and pepper, and don't forget the bouquet garni and the carapincha, and we close it and we let it simmer on a low fire for about an hour.
Oh.
Wow. Lovely, Yasmin.
That looks fantastic.
Oh wow, cheers. Cheers to a great
santé.
meal.
Enjoy.
Santé, santé. It's lovely. Blended in very well.
That's really great.
The herbs,
So
wine,
good.
all that.
Yes, the chicken has really infused well with the wine.
You know who taught me to do this? My friend Lucette in Paris. She had a restaurant, and
Lucette. Yes, I know Lucette.
Yeah,
Bonjour,
she
Lucette.
taught me to do this. Thank you, Lucette.
Merci, Lucette. C'est délicieux. C'est très délicieux.
So Yasmin, when you were in the wine cellar in Rui, did you taste the wine?
Of course. Watch. Donc, on va déguster.
Voilà. Et nous allons déguster du rouge du millésime 2020.
Je te suis.
Voilà. Alors. Voilà.
Qu'est-ce que c'est? Qu'est-ce que vous faites là?
Alors là, nous prélevons, donc, je prélève du vin, donc. C'est un Mercuré, premier cru, 2020. Voilà. Alors ce qu'il faut faire, donc, c'est le sentir, déjà. Est-ce qu'il sent bon?
Très bon.
Bon, déjà, il y a 50%. Et puis après, tu regardes la couleur, une jolie couleur. Et puis après, tu le dégustes. Et tu le craches. Tu comprends? Tu le craches, comme ça tu as tous les parfums, tous les tanins, tous les parfums, mais tu n'avales pas.
Ah, d'accord.
Tu comprends? Et c'est notre métier. Donc souvent on déguste, mais on n'avale pas, on crache. Par contre, quand on mange avec un bon plat, là on avale.
Merci beaucoup.
Santé.
My God, that was interesting. For someone who doesn't touch wine, I know you very well. Did you really mean what you said, Yasmin?
Then I said it was good.
Yes.
Of course. That was a Mercure Premier Cru. What do you expect? Even if you don't taste, you can say it's good.
Someone's become a connoisseur after her visits to France.
N'est-ce pas?
Don't worry, he's just getting jealous now. Ignore him, Yasmin.
Never mind. Well, on that note of gastronomy and coq vin, all this feast here, that brings part one to a close.
Stay with us. We'll be back with you after the break.
We first finish our coq vin, everybody. Cheers! On an initiative of the French Ministry for Europe and Foreign Affairs and Chef Alain Ducasse, Good France 2021 will once again celebrate French gastronomy and its actors in France and around the world. Following the health crisis which also overtook the world's food industry last year, now is the time for an eagerly awaited renaissance to celebrate the new face of gastronomy of the future. Stay tuned for the 4th edition of Good France in Sri Lanka and the Maldives, which invites chefs to design their own French-styled dinner from the 1st until the 7th of November. So welcome back to Rendezvous with Yasmin
And Kumar
and
and
Aneesha.
Aneesha. Aneesha, now that you know about wine, what are the similarities that you see in tea?
Well, there are many similarities actually. If you start with the basics, they are both natural products. Each wine is made from a particular varietal of grape. So similarly in tea, you get different cultivars. So a cultivar is basically a cultivated variety bred for certain characteristics. So while some cultivars will do better on like a rocky mountainous soil, some might thrive more on like with a lot of sunshine or in wetter conditions or in the colder climates. The terroir is basically your soil conditions, your climate, your landscape, even the water conditions in a particular area will have a big effect on the flavor profile of the tea. So once the tea is harvested, it's also very important that it's taken to be processed very quickly. So it's important the location of the tea factory, like with the vineyard I'm sure, it's very important to the manufacturing process.
The leaves are first softened by a withering process that reduces their moisture content by half and enables them to be rolled. Withering is followed by rolling. The leaves are rolled to break down cell walls and release their essential oils. From the roller, it is fed into the rotor vane which does the maceration. It is then fed into the roll breaker fitted with meshers which extracts the finer particles which are called doules. Next comes fermentation, the crucial step that gives black tea its color and flavor. The fermented doules are then fed into a dryer. The air temperature must be carefully monitored and controlled. From the dryer, it goes into the sifting room for grading and finally packing.
So another important factor and a similarity that I see between the two is the tasting process. In tea, what we do is we will look at the tea leaf, the color of the tea leaf, and then the color of the tea liquor. And we will take it and we'll observe the texture of the liquid, of the beverage, and then we will smell it, and then we will do a big slurp in order to get a full good taste. So there's actually almost a scientific reason behind why we slurp this way. Some might think it's quite a rude noise that you're making, but what is happening is that actually there's a spot at the back of your throat where it meets with the nasal passage. So when you do this action of slurping, the liquid mixes with the air and atomizes in your mouth. And that opens up all your senses of smell and taste. So you're actually tasting and smelling simultaneously.
And then spit it out.
Yes, of course.
And I told Paul about this. Watch.
Okay.
Oui, c'est très intéressant parce que pour la dégustation de thé, c'est pareil. On avale pas, on crache.
Et voilà, tu vois, c'est exactement la même chose.
Shall we end Rendezvous now with some quotes about tea and wine?
Good idea. I will start with a Hebrew expression. Il n'y a pas de joie sans vin.
There's no joy without wine.
I would pick the quote by Eleanor Roosevelt, which is, "A woman is like a tea bag.
Oh.
You don't know how strong she is until she's in hot water."
Before we have a storm in a teacup, let's end tonight's program.
Thank you, Aneesha, for your presence today and for sharing all those ideas with us on the show.
Oh, I enjoyed it. My pleasure.
Bonne soirée, à la prochaine.
Samuel Johnson, with tea amused the evening. With tea solaced the midnight, and with tea welcomed the morning.
Bonne cuisine et bon vin, c'est le paradis sur terre. Henri IV.